Hey guys, Dan Allen, Network and Security Solution Architect at Green Pages, coming at you to talk about some wireless tips and tricks, some of the things we're seeing in the marketplace, and some things to think about when you're starting your wireless projects. We know these can get pretty difficult. Sometimes they're pretty simple, just providing some access, but sometimes they're business critical, and you really got to think about the entire length and breadth of the project to make sure that we're successful. So let's dive right in. So thoughtful consideration. One of the first things that customers often talk to me about is, what do I even need to think about? And my first question back is, well, what types of devices are going to be jumping onto this network? Are we going to have handhelds in a warehouse? Or is this going to be, wireless critical business applications? We have users walking around with laptops and possibly doing Citrix VDI sessions. We need to maintain those connections. Or is this going to be best effort? And, this is a commodity that we're going to provide to our guests, perhaps just in a lobby, and, if they can't get on, it's not such a big deal. We want to determine how important this is, because obviously it's going to come down to the infrastructure, the redundancy, and some of the other strategic points in the project that can either drive costs way up or keep them right in line with where we want to be. What's your wireless footprint going to look like? Are you guys going to have APs all at one location, and that's also where you have your network rack? And if that's the case, we can talk about putting a controller on site there. If you're going to have all your APs in one spot and you're possibly going to have a DR to hold all of your network infrastructure, we can talk about extending that connectivity between the sites and managing it from one side but providing the access on another. Or do you have a totally decentralized topology and you have maybe retail shops? You only have one AP here and maybe 5 of them are in different countries, and you want those access points to be centrally managed with the same policy, security, and configuration for all of your sites, but again, you want to centrally manage it. If that's the case, we might be talking on-prem and we can do that. Or we might be talking cloud. So before we jump too far into that and topologies, let's talk about the technology. I think a lot of people know, 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz are the two spectrums that we're operating on, as determined by the agencies that govern these types of things. We've already passed, in years past, wireless A, B, G, and N is just currently sunsetting, but it's still definitely out there. So 2.4 hasn't changed very much. 40 millihertz bands and slower speeds, but wider coverage. A little bit of noise, but it's useful for situations like warehouses or, best effort wireless connectivity where, we don't need a lot of speed, we don't have a lot of throughput, we just need to keep these people connected. And again, especially the warehouse angle, we see this all the time with pickers and checkers and inventory specialists who just need to have the ability to walk up and down aisles, keep track of items, or maybe potentially determine where items are as they're moving around to save time. The new hotness, 5 gigahertz, right? 5 gigahertz is where everything's going, and that's where we get wireless AC, if you've heard of it. We now have wireless AC Wave 1 and wireless AC Wave 2. Some of the differences. Wave 1 can perform, about a theoretical maximum of 1 gigabit per second. That's if you're using the new 80 megahertz bands and you're utilizing 3 spatial streams all in conjunction. You can get right up to about 1 gigabit. It communicates without what's called MU-MIMO. Talk about that in a second. It's how wireless has always communicated, especially the 2.4 spectrum, at what we call half duplex. Now, half duplex is kind of the share the air. It's like when you're at a stadium and your phone just doesn't really work. That's because everyone's trying to use their phone and everyone's trying to communicate at the same time, and there's collisions going on. So wireless will tell everybody, back up, hold on, we got to do this in an organized pattern. Kind of like, if anyone remembers, aging myself here, the token ring, FDDI sort of connectivity method. You wait until the token comes to you. Until then, you could be waiting a millisecond. You might be waiting a full second, right? So Wave 2, this is where we've introduced 160 millihertz and MU-MIMO, which gives us full duplex. MU-MIMO, great name, multiple user, multiple input, multiple output. And that's how our Ethernet works now, and that's what we understand it to, and how we understand it to work. You plug into the switch, you're automatically on, other people are passing traffic, but as soon as you want to pass traffic, it detects that there isn't a collision, gets it out there, and gets it done. That's the same thing that this is doing. So we're not just getting faster speeds and higher throughput of 6.9 gigabits per second theoretical maximum, which is just awesome, right? You can see how in a few years, people are talking about how wired might become the threatened minority of the connection methods. But it also allows a lot more bandwidth and throughput overall because we have so many more sessions and so many more connections and packets just being moved in general. So, for high density deployments, for conference rooms, for, big groups, meeting centers, things like that, 5 gigahertz is really the new hotness and where things are going.